it's just the house. That's all. It's just the house.
You look like you're in Bohemia somewhere. My goodness. Take me with you.
Honey, anytime.
Hello, you two gorgeous people.
Why, hello.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you guys. I'm just going to do quick little intros. My name is Jerry Topitzer. I'm the creator, writer, and actor in UPCODE, which is a comedy series about a brilliant doctor who's battling to save his practice from an evil insurance company who's slowly tightening its evil coils around his practice. And Dr. Fritz has made some questionable financial decisions. So he's not fully innocent, but he's surrounded, and I play Dr. Fritz. But this really is an ensemble cast, and Dr. Fritz is surrounded by an amazing cast of characters, including Julia Register, who plays his esteemed and tenacious billing manager, trying to keep everything together. Her name is Catherine, and Marcus Drue, who plays our receptionist, who knows where all the bodies are buried in the practice. So welcome, you guys. Welcome. So happy to have you.
So happy to be here.
I wanted to just, maybe start with how you guys got. What was your first kind of interaction? Where did you first hear about this project? And what did you think when this kind of casting notice came across?
Marcus, do you want to go first?
Oh, I can, sure. Well, I thought the premise was hilarious. I thought the premise was timely, given our insurance system in America and our healthcare system in America, and understanding from this how difficult it actually is to run a successful practice. And now I understand as a patient, when you go in, it's like, oh, well, I'm hurt my toe. All right, well, let's give you a brain scan and examine your eyes. And I'm like, but it's my toe.
Right.
I don't need my lungs. It's my toe. It's an ingrown toenail. I see right there. So now I fully understand why everything takes place in a doctor's office and why it takes forever to have anything happen.
Yeah.
When you're there. Yeah.
It's sick, really.
Yeah. That didn't answer the question.
I was like, let's get
Go ahead,
political.
Julia.
When did I saw it on Backstage, trusty dusty Backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget that self-tape because I loved it so much. And I seem to be more often than not playing characters that are like on the edge of losing it. So it wasn't like totally, but it was really fun because I remember doing the printer scene for the audition.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun just smacking my fake printer. I think I didn't really fully know what it was about until we got into rehearsal. And I was like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Like logistically, I think most people have no idea that's what is going on. And that's why everything takes so long. And it's really, obviously it's kind of like this microcosmic view of our healthcare system. And it's very frustrating, as Catherine is very obviously very frustrated.
Yes, Catherine is on the edge. And so for anybody who hasn't seen episode 2, you'll meet Catherine as really the one who's just barely kind of keeping the practice together and trying to, catch up to Dr. Fritz, who's kind of oblivious, and so when we meet Catherine, she truly is a gal on the edge, and Julia, I'll never forget your tape, and we got some amazing submissions for that role, but your self-tape was so perfect because you just nailed that scene straight from jump. It was like, boom.
I worked hard on it.
You could tell. Well, and also you could tell you really enjoyed it, which is a great note to actors, by the way, which is whenever you're enjoying the material, That's a good sign.
Yeah.
And as insane as you were, I could tell you were enjoying it.
Good. I really did. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So for me, again, it was backstage, um, uh, and I mean, it was well, because you posted the audition for a female between the ages of 50 and 60, motherly,
yes,
um, and I was like, as for the receptionist role, and I went, well, God damn it, why the hell does the receptionist have to be a woman?
Yes.
I was
I
just.
love it.
I'm
And
so
I
glad you.
was like, you know what? You know what? In our household, I am the mommy. I've got two pugs and I am the mommy and I could be damn motherly too. And I went, screw this shit. I'm going to submit for it.
Can I tell you? I'm so glad you brought this up, Marcus, because it's my favorite casting story of the whole project, or maybe ever. Because you're right, we had a very stereotypical notion of what this receptionist should be. You know, a kind of older lady with the tight bun, you know, and just very kind of prim and proper. And so we put out our casting notice, and we got those submissions. We got those submissions in,
Yeah.
and with yours, I'll never forget the little note in your submission was so funny, but it had a little edge. It was beautifully written. It was like, I can be maternal.
No, I said I could be motherly.
Thank
I'm
you.
mother to my two pugs.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And
And I was like, well, that's fine. If you want motherly, and I'm gay. So it's like, you know what? I could be a gay receptionist in this. So I could absolutely see the entire thing in the office,
yeah.
which
And
was funny. And so then actually, I was really surprised when you actually sent me the audition request and the sides. It was like, oh shit, what the hell did I get myself into?
now you actually have to do the audition.
Right now, I'm really got to commit to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
So
are
you
my
were.
favorite stories.
But see, this is kind of like you, Julia. It was like, I've got to commit to this. And so slapping, this fake printer and the frustration and everything that you went into,
Well, it's also
which
like
we
don't
get to
follow the
see.
rules. I hate
Yeah.
like this plays in my head over and over again, like from conservatory when I was 15, and I'm still doing this now, which is like kind of all of these rules in our industry, especially with auditioning. There's these like faux pas, right? Like don't come in full costume. I came in full costume for my first like primetime TV gig and like won the part.
Right.
Don't gender bend if they don't ask for that. Like you are like fuck that. I can play this role. I'm gonna do it. There's so many
Yeah.
rules that are not real rules that I've learned like coming up, and so it's fun. I love hearing stories like that because there are no rules.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's such a great lesson because we're creating the series and we think we have an idea of who these characters are. But then you get a great actor who comes in and says, I can do this. I've got the essence of this. Regardless of how I look on the outside, I've got the essence of this inside me. I'm going to show you. And it puts us as writers and creators in the mindset of, maybe that is a better idea. Maybe this is a more interesting choice. And
Well,
it's
see,
such
and
a
this is
gift. It's
yeah,
such a
and
gift.
this is the thing because I actually when I actually submitted and you actually cast me. I mean, I was thrilled to tears to get it, number one, but I shared it with one of the actor groups that I belonged to, and I was raked over the coals by women
Really?
who were sitting down saying that, oh, you're taking roles away from women, and
Mm.
there aren't enough roles written for us now. And my response was, well, you know what? You need to be taking roles away from men. If they're written for men, a CEO
but there's
of
also
a
not enough roles
corporation.
written for gay men
But this
either.
is
So
what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Just because in the writer's mind it's a corporate executive is a male,
Mhm.
well, bullshit. I know a lot of corporate executives that are female. So why are you limiting yourself? Challenge them. We talk about diversity in the workplace. They're not going to hand it to us. We've got to challenge them. And so, putting out, unless the story itself if it's about racism, then that it is specific to race. That's important to the storyline. But if it's just a storyline like what we've got here, the roles could be filled by anybody, any race, any sex, because the story can adapt to that. And this is why Jerry, what you did in going, hey, wait a minute, let me rethink this, shows what the future of this business should be, because it really does make a difference that the filmmakers, the writers, the directors, the producers really start to go, wait a minute, that was a preconceived notion, and will it make it more interesting?
Right.
Will it make it better? Yeah. And I think that, and you can see the diversity in our cast here too, which I think is great.
You also just killed that role. It was just so funny. And like it could have been so small, but it like wasn't. You fully became like, I want a spin-off about you, like it was really fun to watch.
But see, remember when all right, so Jerry, I got a question for you too about this.
Sure.
All right. So when did it start to become YouTube series versus, we're doing 8 episodes and we're submitting it to producers and that sort of thing? Because this is also something really interesting in the way the industry is working, especially with COVID and the challenges of an independent film producer and that sort of thing. So how did that come about?
Yeah, no, great question. So as you guys know, we had written a 30-minute pilot that was, but we did it very intentionally, where we said, all right, we're going to have a 30-minute pilot, but we're going to have chapters that divide that pilot, because we always wanted to have the ability to do one or the other, right? We weren't sure if, Netflix or somebody was just going to love it and say, all right, based on that 30-minute pilot, we're going to order 12 30-minute episodes and off into production, right? So that's sort of plan A. But we always knew that that's a very long shot, and especially with no big name talent attached, that's a tough ask.
Right.
But we were like, let's go for it. But we consciously divided into the chapters just in case. And as you know, we shot the pilot. And we actually had all the intention in the world to shoot a second episode, because we were so excited. You guys did the table read for the second episode. We were so excited to shoot that second 30-minute episode when COVID had other ideas, right? And so that's when we said, all right, let's downshift. We'll go the festival circuit. Hi, Ruby's mom, who just joined. That's awesome. Ruby's amazing. Ruby plays Alice, our evil insurance executive, and she plays it amazingly. Hi, Ruby's mom. So we went into festivals, and we did very well. We got into 10 festivals. We got awards at 5 of them, so that was amazing. And all of the we actually never went and pursued meetings at the streamers, because all the advice we got from streamers and folks that pitch streamers was, well, every big name talent right now who can't be on set is developing a project for themselves. So all the streamers and distributors, instead of getting 10 pitches a day, were getting 40, and all of those were from name talent. So we said, all right, let's not be part of that sea of pitches that nobody's going to look at. Let's now go to plan B, which was use those chapters we had created, right? Because they were all, we packed that episode, as you guys know, we packed each beat so richly that we said, we believe that each one of these chapters can live on its own as a mini episode, and let's build an audience organically online. So let's put it onto YouTube. Let's put some marketing behind it, and let's give it a go. So that's what we're doing right now, which is we said, all right, on the back of all the great press, the festival awards, let's launch it into YouTube and build a following. And then once we have a following, we'll be undeniable. Back to your point, Marcus, about let's push the door open ourselves. So that's what we're endeavoring to do.
We're also in this world now where like that is the way.
Yeah.
And it's so accessible. And also there's so many comedians that I love that started web series on YouTube that, you know, now have shows on HBO, if that's the goal. Whatever, who cares? We're making something awesome, so that's really the point. But YouTube, I know some other people that have taken that path, that like they build a web series on YouTube and it's beautifully shot and it's professional, you know, it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And then you can use that as the platform to move from there too.
No,
Well,
exactly.
isn't that what High Maintenance did too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He started, and you know, again, like you, Jerry, it was like, oh well, this is my life, and these are the interesting sort of things, and then
Yep.
it just got a following, and yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No, exactly. That's the goal. So yeah, everyone who's joining now, make sure you watch. Tell your friends. It's on YouTube. Look for UPCODE series. Hi everyone. Hi Adrian. I saw Adrian joined. Hi
Hi,
Robin.
Rob.
Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Back to you guys, but it's also again such a testament to you all, because as a creator, you know, you think you have these ideas about characters and character arcs, but then when you're addressed with talented actors and collaborators who come in, all of a sudden it explodes your idea and vision of who those characters can be, and then it, you know, it allows you as the writer creator to adjust, right? And now my whole vision for your characters completely changed after both you guys submitting and now working with you. It's like, oh no, I can't wait to build through and show the audience the character arcs on both your characters, on Catherine and your character, Marcus.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, because you told me the backstory, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether now that you've modified that slightly or changed it. So I'm curious to see who the hell I am now.
Yeah. All will be revealed.
Something that's really, so I've been working on this TV show with a big old friggin' budget, but it's so interesting to see the difference between film and television. And what's really fun about television is that exact chance to like have these crazy arcs with these characters that you really do not get in any other art form, like theater or film. It's kind of like this one succinct story. But I love, and you can watch like my favorite television shows. I think I went back and watched like even that 70s show last year, and I was like, oh my God. And you watch them change, and the writers, you know, everybody's changing and evolving with each episode, and it's really, really cool to watch that, because it's the only place you're going to get all of that information from the story, from the characters, from the writers, like for such a long period of time. So it's exciting to have been at the beginning of this one, because like to watch something from start to end, which we don't know what the end is, you know, is really exciting, and to be a part of that conversation, right, where like we're coming in for the first time, you're seeing us for the first time, and then it becomes this collaborative altogether, which I will also say that this really was a special cast. Not everything we do is like you remember and you stay in touch and you want to share with people. Like this is that, and it's really well done thanks to you, and it's, you know, I can't wait to see you all again in person and you know, cackle away into the night.
I know, I miss you guys so much. Well, like you said, Julia, you know, bringing you guys into the rehearsal room and kind of working through those scenes and then playing on set. I think, Julia, you got maybe the kind of the closest view to this was, you know, in episode 2, there's that kind of bear of a scene, that coding scene where the practice, you know, everyone in the practice, you know, Catherine, Dr. Fritz, Dr. Trudy, and Nurse Cal are all in a room trying to figure out codes, you know, and medical codes, and how does it work and how crazy it is, you know, and it was a way of us trying to figure out how to convey to the audience, without being boring, how insane it is, how completely complicated it is. It's basically impossible to understand. But somehow everyone has to understand it who's in this business in order to get paid anything to keep their business running. And how
that scene was a work of art, the way you wrote it. Like, because, and we talked about this earlier, but like, it is truly who's on first.
Right.
And we're getting confused while we're rehearsing it and shooting it about, wait, who's on first? No, who's on second? Like, and then also all the jargon. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
Subungal melanoma. I'll never forget subungal melanoma.
And meanwhile, we have Gisela playing Ainsley, the erstwhile pharmaceutical rep, popping in from outside.
Yeah.
That was touching that. And so I just got to watch it, and watching it, I'm going, oh my God, this is just brilliant.
It's well written.
Where she's listening at the door and then screaming out Dexylphenitrin or whatever the heck name you came up with for this because that's the other part of it. These drug names are so strange and have nothing to do with the chemical makeup. It's like, oh, let's just make up. And she just screams it, oh, it's great for this too. And it's like, oh, it's one of those heal-all snake oil medicine things. And it was just so funny. Because every commercial you watch on television is, and it's good for this and this and this. Oh, but it also does this. And they're never going to tell you any of that crap.
Right.
Well, it's also like, I really, there's so much crap out there. And to work with writing that is good, because that's the start, really. I feel like, and I know as actors, like, we read so much crap just as auditions, just sides. That's like, this is so bad. So to work with something that was like, it's witty. I have no wit. All of my humor is like poop and butts. Like, there's no wit at all.
That is not true. You are very witty.
But because I'm reading your words, like, slap a mustache on me and call me Johnny. That's it.
That was the other thing, that the feedback when you sent it to us and we were sharing with people and this sort of thing the entire 30-minute episode. The comments that I kept getting back, which is that this is a really smart series, that it's funny, but it's really intelligent in its messaging and the way it's being done, and it's just smart.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Yeah, exactly. So now this is the other part of this, Mr. Jerry Topitzer. Mr. Wall Street guy, how the hell did you go
from, tell us that story.
Just all of a sudden become a script writer and write something about this? I mean, because it's not like, I'm off of Wall Street, so now I'm going to write a comedy about coding with health insurance.
A comedy about medical billing? I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah, what an interesting concept. Of
Easy
course
peasy.
That'll sell.
That old saw, the comedy about medical billing. No, well, the quick backstory for me is, yes, I was working on Wall Street for 18 years.
All right, wait. So this is the other thing where people always talk about, as actors, you need to write your own stuff. You need to write your own stuff. You need to write your own stuff.
Yes.
And so I get that. But then most of us are also frozen in, what the heck am I going to write about? Oh, is it something that I personally experienced? Oh, well, that'll make it more real, and that'll make it more challenging and genuine. But then how do you get started? And so here you are. All right, so now Wall Street there, and now, health insurance coding.
Right. Easy jump. So the quick backstory on me was I was working on Wall Street for a while. I worked on Wall Street for 18 years. And about halfway into my career, my then girlfriend, now wife, because I'd been just kind of complaining. I had done some acting way back in the day, and I was just, kvetching about, I want to be more creative. I want to be performing again. I miss performing. I can't believe, I just want to try it. And so she was like, shut up, Jerry. I got you improv lessons for Valentine's Day. Go, And my first improv lesson, I was just like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this forever. So for 8 years, while I was working my way up, clawing my way up the corporate ladder on Wall Street, at night I was performing improv in New York City here. So I had this weird double life where I didn't want any of my colleagues to know that I was an improviser and performer. I just didn't want those two worlds to collide ever. So I just was doing that more and more and more, yeah, for years, until finally it got to the point where I could feel my soul decaying from my daily life on Wall Street. And I said, I just have to get out. And I really want to dive into performing full time. And so I did. I left, threw it all away, decided to become a full-time performer. And that was my principal goal, was to be an actor and performer, and with a focus on comedy. And the good thing about my improv background was that we also did a lot of sketch. So we did a lot of improv into sketch writing. And so that's really the basis of how I write. It's from an improv perspective. And so me and a group of friends started to make short films. And one of the short films we made was based on a friend who had an embarrassing experience at the doctor. He had gone in because he thought he had an STD. And the doctor was very kind of judgmental and snarky and condescending. And so we thought it was a funny, just almost sketch. And we said, all right, let's just shoot it. So we did exactly that. We wrote it. We shot the thing as a short, and it was really fun. We just couldn't.
Well, isn't he the one with the STDs in the thing?
That is the guy. That is so Cameron, who plays Nick Chambers, our Australian patient, who the folks will meet later. No spoilers. But he came to us with that baseline idea. And so...
and he really had an STD. He's method.
And here's what it was. I'll put the pictures up now. Here are the pictures. It's not too disturbing. It's just a little bit.
It's medical. Look at it with a medical eye.
That's right.
He won't mind. No. He was fine. He was clean. It's okay. So... in preparation for that little short, I did, like any other diligent actor, did my backstory, did my whole thing about why a doctor would be kind of cranky and mean. And that's when I did all this research and learned why doctors are actually not happy at all. And 50% of them want to get out of the profession and would never recommend the profession to their kids. There's just all this studies.
They're also not doing what you think. I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry. That thought logistically, politically about our actual plot is like, I have some doctors in my family, and this stuff is horrible. Like literally, Dr. Fritz, he doesn't want to do all of that shit because it's red tape.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you're literally just like, how can we charge these people as much as possible?
Yeah.
Upcoding. And there are so many doctors that, none of the like I'm helping people and like Dr. House stuff where they're like figuring out what's going on. That's like not what you're doing at all. It's paperwork and insurance, because our healthcare system, which by the way is behind like every other fucking country, not obviously like Europe is all whatever, not going to get into the politics, but it's point is that, what was I saying?
No, and something like 30 to 50% of a doctor's full time is spent on paperwork, and that's what's driving folks out of the profession. And so the more doctors I spoke to, the more this all got reinforced, and it started to make me realize, this conflict between the doctor and an insurance company, conflict equals narrative, and the big evil insurance empire could make a great villain. And because the doctor in the story is not he's under pressure, B, he's not perfect, right? And C, he has to make some difficult choices. That to me just read as comedy, like that was just like, super evil insurance company, protagonist under tons of pressure, probably not going to make the best decisions. That could be really fun. And and we had shown the short to a couple of folks in industry who also suggested, hey,
I was
you should
gonna
think about a
say,
series.
Yeah, like, or have you shown it to any doctors? What are the doctors saying? I'm so curious.
Yes, so the doctors love it. Like the doctors.
Oh, good.
It's interesting. So I did a full interview with this guy, Dr. Belk, and so that interview is up on YouTube, which everyone should watch. It's not funny. It's actually quite heavy, and you get to meet a real life doctor his life is really at risk. He's about to close his practice for all of these reasons. He's about to end his practice, which is his life's work, and it's very sad. in a way, but hilarious for us. So who cares?
Well, the scary part is this is the scary part. If they pass universal health care, we're kind of up the creek now because, oh well, how are we gonna make this funny?
Yeah.
We need
I'm voting
we
Republican just
we
so we
need
can
to
keep our
just for
pilot
our
alive.
careers. We want everybody to vote Republican just for our careers.
Well,
Something tells me
it's
we'll
funny
find
because
something to limp through.
nobody knows what's going on, right? When I have to call my insurance company, this is how I always preface any insurance, anything, car insurance, health insurance, anything. I'm like, hey, I'm a new young adult and I don't actually agree with any of these systems and I don't understand what's going on. So can you tell me from your point of view what's going on? And they always laugh, something along those lines, because nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody
It's
knows what's going
always
on.
changing. It's
Right.
chaos. There's no mainstream system. It's such an old, dead capitalistic system. We keep talking about capitalism, everybody. How come we're not doing anything about it? Just saying, just slipping that in there. Eyeball. But anyways.
Well, that's the other thing is you look at this system and it is nothing if not absurd. You know, it's like
It's absurd. It's
and
completely absurd.
and was rife for being satirized in my view. And so
Yeah.
that's what and also, you know, there'd been some dramas that kind of touch on the unfairness of the system, but I wasn't aware of any comedies, and I realized maybe people just need to kind of come around and look at the absurdity, laugh at it, and just kind of get together and realize, oh yeah, this is insane. Maybe we should.
It's a farce. It's truly a farce. I mean, even like getting like a referral, or like you can't go to a doctor that you know you need. Like, I have bad eyes. I'm legally blind, but I can't go see an optometrist unless I go to another doctor I've never been to, my primary, to get a referral to go over here in the middle of COVID where I don't want to go. It's like,
Julia,
what?
I need to interrupt and say, I'm sorry. Did you just say you're legally blind? Because if our billing manager is going to be legally blind, I'm writing that into the script.
Well, so legally blind is like I can't drive without glasses,
Got
basically.
it.
Like, I will be dead in the apocalypse if I lose these. So
So that Twilight Zone episode with Burgess Meredith, when he's in the bank vault reading and the bomb goes off and he's the only one left, and he finds all these books and organizes them, and then he slips and his glasses fall off and break.
yeah,
That's
me.
you.
Dead.
Okay. All right, good. Just so we
Instant.
get it.
I can't see shit. It's blurry.
Okay.
But yes, write that in.
Done. Already written. It's already
All
shot.
right. All right.
That's beautiful. So when we got to the point of shooting, which is kind of just the highlight of my life, I think, was just having that time to be on set with you guys. For going back to that coding scene, Julie, you probably saw there were bits and pieces of that scene where we were kind of still writing the very last, you know, beats on the day, and so it required some, you know, it required improvisation skills. I was wondering, do you have an improv background? I should know this, but
Oh
I
my
assume
God,
you
yeah,
did.
my whole life is improv. Yeah. My OG improv background, which is like written off in the acting world, but it was the best improv education I ever got, was actually from the world of Ren fairs. Oh, as I fall into my plant. I was a washing well wench with no teeth and crazy hair in a Renaissance festival.
Oh my
And we
God.
trained
You
for
were
like,
one of those geeks that we used to go and make fun of.
but here's the funny thing is that job, there's actually a national version of the washing well wenches, which are still around today, and it's so much money. It's ridiculous. So I got plucked out of that into like the big whatever. I love all those people I meet, and yes, it's totally nerdy, but it's also like the best training I ever got. But we have a structured show that is like half structured, half improvised, but it's really tight. And so just out of there, because we had to create a whole character, talk in like Shakespearean, like improvise in Shakespearean, create bits on the street. Like, it's basically like, it's called street work, where you have a character, you've worked 4 weeks creating this character, and then you have bits that you do, but everything else is improv with the other characters, with the people that are there. So that's kind of like where I got, and I took improv in college, you know, all that stuff. But then a lot of my on camera work now is also just like, who's the character? Okay, turn the camera on, like improv time.
Yeah.
But that's like my favorite thing, because I think the funniest stuff comes out of, when you're just in it and you are not going off of a text that's here,
Yeah.
Right.
And chemistry. We had a lot of really good chemistry on set too, which is magic,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was going to tell you, Jerry. You know that it's like a trope, the finance guy in comedy, in improv.
What's funny is that I don't know that, which is very
You don't
telling.
know that. That's like a thing that's like, oh God, the finance guy who went into improv. But you're fucking talented, which is so, because I think you're the soul of a creator, but you went it. I don't know. I don't know your life, but that's
No,
a
you're
thing
exactly
that
right.
everyone's like,
I had
oh
no
God, the finance guy in improv. Oh boy, you're
No,
not
but you're
that.
right. Thank you. I'll take that. But you're so right. I had never wanted to go to Wall Street. I fell into it.
Yeah.
I literally fell into it as a temp, and then
Oh wow.
it was in the middle of a merger, and then they were like, oh, you have a head on your shoulders. They kept on giving me more and more to do, and I was just like, okay, it's like, and every time I'd be like, all right, this year I'm gonna quit, they'd throw
The
piles
golden
more money at
handcuffs.
me, and I was like, all right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Golden
but
handcuffs are
then
real.
There's a lot of people like my gym trainer at
They're
the Fit
everywhere.
Lab in Hoboken. My gym trainer worked on Wall Street, and I'm like, okay.
When people say that, did that mean you actually
it's
work
so
on Wall
No, he
Street,
was
or is it
actually
like
like on Wall Street. I don't know if he was a trader or I don't know what the hell he did. I don't know. But he was there making money, flying places because he had all this freaking money. And I think I think like Jerry, like you, it was kind of like, well, got out of school, college, wasn't sure what to do. His uncle or something worked at some place on Wall Street. And so it's like, come on, we'll get you a job. And so he got a job, and then
one
all
thing
the
leads to
money
another.
started coming in, and now I've got
hard
all
to
the
leave
money
that
coming
money?
in, and yeah.
Why
And
does it always look like there's been a party and all the confetti's on the floor? Is that Wall Street?
Well, yeah. Are you talking about the ticker tape parade? Is that what you mean?
I don't know. It always looks like they just had a big party. Nobody has cleaned up, and they're
I think
tickety
that was
typing away.
I think that was when they used to like have tickets and stuff. You're talking about the trading floor when they used to have tickets and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's all gone now. It's all in computers and on their phone.
Sad. That looks
Yeah, no
exciting.
more confetti. It's better for the environment not to have that.
True.
See, Wall Street's being very socially conscious now.
Always.
Hilarious. Capitalism eating away at our society.
There you
go. So yeah, no. When we got to set, right? Now, Marcus, you had a front row seat for probably my low point on set, which was we were doing. This is a scene that folks will see in 2 episodes from now. But
spoiler. This is So
I won't go too much into it.
No, but
so
this is about acting and trying to stay focused.
Yeah.
Because again, all right. So the scene that we just saw, the episode 2 that is now out on YouTube, that everybody who's watching needs to share with all their family and friends and make them like it and subscribe. Subscribing is free, and just make them like it and do it and that sort of thing. But share it, people, because this is really funny. My reactions are real. So like everything everybody is seeing is exactly what was going on when I'm watching you guys. I am not acting. I am simply being me, sitting here watching you guys do what you're doing.
Well, and so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because, again, I think our idea of who your character was so different. We thought, oh, she's going to be very prim and proper and very kind of stereotypical. But as you got on set, when we Drue, who was our amazing director, Drue Pennella, spent time making sure he got all of your reaction shots. just the touchstone of coming back to you on your reactions, I would say, and I think, Julie, you'd probably agree, the entertainment value per on-screen amount of actual lines is probably highest from you, Marcus, because it just coming back to you as a touchstone reaction, it was such gold because it makes
You are
the
the
audience live
punchline.
through you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
So
so
funny.
perfect.
Which
Such
is
a
also
joy.
a great, like, these, and I don't even want to call it a small role because you're a part of our cast and like everybody knows exactly who
I
you are.
I am supporting. I
Yeah.
embrace that.
But I think I am too.
I was
I don't know.
actually asked by somebody, like, what are your things? I'm like, I don't want to carry a show. I don't want to. I don't. That's way too much pressure. And Jerry, God bless you. And Julia, your part too is extremely. I mean, that this is big. What you're doing here is big. To me, I would much rather be the Eve Arden to the Joan Crawford of, being able to be there and support and give the sassy remark every once in a while. But I
Yeah.
don't want to have to run
The
around and,
best job.
beat up, shoot my husband and, try and save my pie company and all this sort of crap. I don't want to have to do that. That's
Pie
way too much
company.
work.
Say the pie
Right?
company.
So,
I'm writing all this down, by the way.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. So
Marcus saves the pie company and kills his husband.
because that's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure, and I'm old. I'm old now too. It's kind of like, oh shit, I got to memorize lines. You get an audition. It's like, a page and a half, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, I got to memorize a page and a half. Jesus, no, it's so much easier just to be able to sit there and go, girl, really? I mean, that. I was on set, and I guess it's one of my gifts. I don't know, but I've been, it's just me. For Younger, the TV series Younger,
Mhm.
they were doing an episode with Gina Gershon as this rock star who had written her little memoirs and things, and it was only the stars and then two supporting people, two background people, and I was her wellness guru that was giving her electrotherapy shocks, like, to activate her muscles and whatever. And so they're acting and doing their stuff, and I'm just doing me. I'm just being me, and I'm looking at her going, whatever, rolling the side eyes and the rolling of the eyes and the giggling and the smirking to myself and all that sort of crap. And the director actually said, "All right, so now that we're done, all right, let's just get shots of Marcus's reaction." And I went, "You gotta fucking be kidding me, really? Oh my God, I just background." And it was never used in the show, but I'd love to see some of the footage. I'd love to get
That was
so,
like, so Jerry, I have to be honest with you. We're live on Instagram here. That working with you guys was like one of my first bigger projects on camera with like a real crew. And I learned a lot on that like stuff I had done in class but that hadn't actually had the chance to do. And one of the things that was so fun was those reaction shots, like even during the what I'm deeming the who's on first scene.
Yeah.
Of like, that was really fun. And I wish now I know that happens in comedy and I'll be more prepared next time. But like, that was really fun. Like at the end when we had gotten it all out and Drue went to each of us and just got the singles of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And when it's your close up, and that was really fun. And that's where all that improv comes in and is so helpful, because it's like, you can do so much with just your little face.
Yeah.
But for editing, like theater, obviously you can't do that. But for on camera, it's so fun to be able to have all those options, and then you don't know as an actor what they're gonna insert. Like, really fun.
Well, that's the genius, honestly, of Drue as a director, to say, all right, we got everything now, because as we all know, improv, it's fun. It's fun for us actors, but it can burn a lot of time on set. So you have to really use it very carefully
Yeah.
with my producer's hat on, as an actor, I'd want improv all day long, but as a producer, we got to be really careful because you need to make the day. And so you need to have a director to understand, okay, what exactly have we missed, right? He's got to have enough of a sense of, all right, what have I shot? I have the essence of the scene. What do I need to fill in? And that's what's so great about Drue is
Yeah,
two
he was
things.
so good.
One, he knows how to shoot funny. Like he knows how to find a funny angle, that's an art, man. That's in
Yeah.
and of
Hmm.
itself. And then the other is to say, all right, we've got everything. Now let's just pick up those magical reaction shots from Marcus or from Julia that we don't know where we're going to need it, but I think I'm going to need it somewhere. So let's just
Yeah.
get as many as we can. That way you have so many options in the can to be like, oh, I can now fill the scene and, decorate it with all these fun little moments. He's really a genius in that way. So yeah.
He
Yeah.
was I learned a lot from him too that day.
Yeah.
Him and the DP. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they are always in cahoots with each other, the director
Yes.
and the DP, which I knew, but that was the first time I was like, they were so good together that I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is very cool. Because, like, and again, these are very simple things. I'm just in awe of our industry all the time of like director of photography. Like, every single shot, especially like working in the big budget stuff I've been doing, not as an actor, but it passes through so many hands, it passes through so much budget, it like everything. If you were to take a still, the idea is if you were to take a still of any moment, it's a
Mhm.
photo, right? It's
Yeah.
something is happening in that still, right? And it's so much work, and it's such an art, and I do not understand it at all. And I'm like even still like trying to like TikTok cool shots of like, how do I like spin around and like zoom? Like, oh my God, there's a zoom button. Like I'm shit. But it's yeah, that was really cool. The technicality of
Yeah.
making something this fast paced too, because it's so
Yeah.
witty and the writing is so good. There was so much camera work to
Yes.
catch all of those jokes because it's fast.
Well,
So that was
yeah.
really neat.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because we decided to do single camera, right? And so the onus was very much on our DP and on Drue as the director, both to like make sure really capturing those beats. And thank God we had them. Like, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and like I, I'll show up with the writing and I'll be in front of the camera, but man, all that other stuff is so, like you said, it's own high art, which I have infinite respect for.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about this project too is that you've hired a really great team. I mean, the editing and just the quality of the footage and just everything it really is a very professionally done project
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah.
And is
And
good.
Yeah.
well, it is good, yeah. But because if people aren't going to enjoy looking at it, then they're, regardless of how witty the writing is, then it's kind of like they're just not going to pay attention. And
Yeah.
I mean, just you've done a really good hiring of your team, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell did you find these people?
Well, yeah, no, it's a little luck and, helps, right? So Drue and I improvised together while I was living that double life.
Oh, okay.
And so after a few years of improvising together, he went off and formed his own production company. And he found Ted, and they were doing a lot of commercial stuff, some narrative stuff, but mostly commercial stuff. And so we always kept in touch. He's a good friend. And as he just got better and better and better, and he filled his team out, I was developing my own stuff. And then much later, we kind of found each other, and I went back to him and said, "Hey, I've got this pilot I really want to shoot. Would you look at it?" And that's when, after having the pilot written, I brought it to him and said, "Would you do it? And would you partner with me?" And thank God he said yes. Yeah. And then we filled the team out from there together. So. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
to your
really
point,
smart.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a genius, and so, but to your point, we wanted to make something where, credibly, Netflix could look at this thing and say, we could put it on Netflix, and it looks like, oh, this is of the quality that it should live on a major streaming platform. That was our goal.
Yeah.
Netflix
Okay.
makes
Good.
crap. I'm working for them right now. I don't know why they won't put UPCODE up because it's not crap.
Well,
Say a word.
They haven't discovered it yet.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
to their in fairness to Netflix, we haven't asked them yet formally, but when we do, hopefully they'll understand. But yeah. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining this live. It was so fun to hang out with you. It's so great to see your smiling faces again. I cannot wait to be on set with you guys again. It will happen.
Definitely.
Everyone who's watching, please go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. It's UPCODE Series. Again, UPCODE Series on YouTube. Go now, subscribe, watch, like, send it to your friends, family, neighbors. Send it to your enemies. We don't care.
Subscribing is free.
It is.
You don't have to pay anything. So just subscribe and watch the episodes and laugh.
The best point I've ever heard. Thank you, Marcus.
That's right. Unlike our healthcare system, it's free.
That's for another episode of Capitalism Sucks.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This was a joy.
Thank you, Jerry.
Good to see you, Julia.
You too,
Thanks,
Marcus.
guys, for watching. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks everybody.
Yeah,
Mwah.
thanks.
Share it with your friends because it'll be on Instagram, thing. So just share it with everybody that you know.
Yeah.
We need your
Funny.
support.
Do
We
it.
love you guys and appreciate you so much. So thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
How do I get off of here?
You're stuck on here forever. Sorry.
Well.
Oh, we forgot to mention.
Okay, bye. Mwah.
See ya.